Most drug lords are cocky. They're out there selling their illegal wares without ever giving any thought to being caught. But this crime duo topped them all. So fearless, they didn't make or import drugs, they stole them from a government lab filled with drugs that police had seized from other criminals. And they didn't stop there. They used guns and kidnapping to get what they wanted. No wonder police did whatever it took to take them down. The main target is 25-year-old Samir Rafahi, otherwise known as Simon or Sam Raha. He's married with 2 young children and lives in Auburn in Sydney's southwest.
Simon Raha was a man with a very large ego. He had delusions of grandeur. He really wanted to be a kingpin in the Sydney crime world.
His partner in crime is 30-year-old Gasson Coda. Coda lives on his own behind this mobile phone shop in the same suburb as Raha.
The shop owner has no idea he's harbouring a criminal.
He was the sort of silent partner of the enterprise. He generally kept a very low profile.
The pair are directors of Dynamic Security Limited. They patrol building sites in the local area using guard dogs. But police suspect it's all just a front.
They would have had opportunities to conduct security assessments on premises. They would have had keys and access. They were able to drive around in plain clothes, in unmarked vehicles, and carry firearms. They were being stopped by police quite regularly.
They basically would pull out their security card, say they're doing security work, and that was the reason they were in some back alley at the time.
It's January 2002, and police receive a tip-off that Coda and Raha are responsible for an armed robbery. Strike Force Valmont begins. This is some of the first surveillance on Coda. That's him in the doorway. Detectives also put Raha's house under watch. He's in the pink. Police have also intercepted both their mobile phones. The problem is, all the conversations are in Arabic.
We received information that a male had been kidnapped. All we knew at that point was the male was being held somewhere in New South Wales. We believed that Raha was somehow involved.
So mission was find the hostage.
Police don't know who the victim is or where the kidnapping has taken place.
We pinned it down to Sydney, and that's about as good as we could get at the time.
Incredibly, just days later, the kidnapped victim escapes and decides to go straight to police to tell them everything he knows about Raha and Coda, the men who abducted him.
Essentially, he told us that Simon Raha and Gasson Coda were operating quite a major organised crime syndicate in Sydney.
Well beyond what we envisaged.
They had committed a number of serious crimes, including armed robberies, ram raids, home invasions,
drug supply, motor vehicle theft, shootings, the sale of arms, just about anything that you could think of they were involved in.
This is the kidnapped victim's actual police testimony. Why he was taken hostage in the first place.
He said, do you know how to operate a computer? And I said, yeah. And a week after that, he said, look, I want licenses. And I said, I don't know how to make licenses, which I don't. I've never done it. And he said, what if I get you the license machine from the RTA?
Yes, the Roads and Traffic Authority. Raha's plan was to steal a licensing machine from the RTA in the Sydney suburb of Silverwater and manufacture illegal licenses for sale on the black market for $1,500 each.
They drove the van through the cyclone fence, around to the side of the building and rammed it, picked it up, put it in the van and just brought it home.
Raha wanted his abductee, a trained computer programmer, to get the machine running, but he just couldn't do it. This is more from the kidnapped victim's actual police interview.
Sam, I really can't work this. He says, there's no such thing as you can't, you have to work. I said, look, Sam, I want to go back to Melbourne, and that's when he went off his rocker. He said, if you ever think of going back, I'm going to kill you. Those were his exact words.
It was at that point he realised he was in a fairly dire situation.
Raha had no intention of letting him go. That's why he had to escape. And police know the kidnapped victim is telling the truth when they intercept a parcel sent from Raha to a company in China.
Got numerous pages here, being colour photographs, what appears to be a computer of some sort.
There were printed copies of photographs of the RTA machine. There were outlines of hologram of the coat of arms and the map of Australia.
The duo plans to manufacture the holograms needed for the licences overseas. It's all good evidence, but are they really drug lords or just criminals out for a quick buck? The abductee knows Raha's a drug kingpin and Coda is his right-hand man. He even reveals information about another upcoming crime.
They were going to break into the government laboratories and steal a safe containing the police drugs, or the drugs seized by the police.
It's an audacious plan. Rob a secret government lab full of millions of dollars worth of high-grade drugs. The question is, when and where will it happen? Police are 3 months into an investigation into Simon Raha and Gasson Coda.
And a victim previously held hostage by Raha has just told detectives of a bold plan by Raha and Coda's gang to steal millions of dollars worth of drugs stored in a government lab.
We really had no idea where that was going to occur. We didn't know exactly who was involved.
At highly protected government laboratories across Australia, legal drug making is taking place.
They made prohibited drugs for the purposes of identification and comparison of other drugs, so these drugs were used as reference materials.
It's a way to measure the grade of illegal drugs seized by police from other drug lords. Detectives are desperate to stop the break-in, but it's tough. They know it won't be Raha and Coda doing the actual robbery.
They had a group of young Middle Eastern men who operated as foot soldiers, basically. They would run out and perpetrate the crimes, and all the proceeds would go back to Raha and Coda.
Mr Raha preyed on the vulnerability of young Middle Eastern youths. He realised that they were needing something in their lives. My concerns were that it was only a matter of time before someone was going to be killed.
The problem for police is that there are just too many foot soldiers to keep an eye on. Detectives set up surveillance in Sydney's southwest, in the heart of Raha and Coda's stomping ground.
But unbeknownst to police, the gang has decided to target a lab 30 kilometres away on Sydney's North Shore. They plan to steal and on-sell high-grade drugs.
They were obviously privy to what safes or storage facilities in that premise contained the best drugs.
7:58 p.m. The first police officer arrived at 8:10 p.m. So that gave them, around about 10 or 11 minutes to break into the lab, find their way to the right part of the laboratory, and to remove the safe and the refrigerator, put it in a car and make their escape.
Police find the safe dumped in nearby bushland, but the drugs, with a street value of $2 million, are long gone.
The safe contained a whole range of drugs, including heroin, cocaine, ecstasy, and other compounds such as morphine. In addition, there were performance-enhancing drugs.
It was a great concern to us that these individuals may have sold these drugs not knowing how pure they were, and effectively could cause a tremendous amount of overdoses.
Police issue an urgent media release warning the public about the high purity. Meanwhile, detectives continue to monitor Raha and Coda's telephone conversations. They also get mobile phone intercepts on each and every foot soldier.
It's a tough one for police. They know that Coda and Raha are behind the drug lab robbery, but they don't have enough evidence to arrest them. And the foot soldiers are so unpredictable, committing crimes without warning. And remember, this is all happening right in the middle of the simmering tensions of the 9/11 fallout. Police continue to listen to their phone taps. They learn something big is about to go down.
The phone intercepts suggest Raha and Coda are planning another major crime.
They were obviously somewhere and they were about to commit some type of robbery, but we had no idea where they were, and it was extremely frustrating.
Just confirm, were shots fired? Confirmative, radio shot tapping flight.
As soon as I heard that broadcast, the penny dropped.
An armed raid at a southwestern Sydney gun club.
4 persons, all by a car with possibly 2 persons with weapons, so pistols.
Police are in the middle of an investigation into 2 dangerous criminals, Samir Rafahi and Gasson Koda. They know they're planning something major, but they just don't know what. Now police in Condell Park, in Sydney's southwest, have just received a 000 call from a gun club.
4 persons, all by a car with possibly 2 persons with weapons, so pistols.
4 of Rafahi and Koda's foot soldiers stormed into the club, firing at will and stealing 19 pistols.
Seen heading north on Harley Crescent.
Detectives arrived to find bullet holes through the doorways and walls.
It was like a scene out of the Wild West.
And guess who was amongst the pistol club's clientele that morning?
Once the detectives began to investigate that robbery, they started taking names of persons who were inside the range, and one of those persons was, lo and behold, Gasson Koda.
Koda and Rafahi are both members of the gun club. Koda puts in a witness statement claiming he was traumatised by the robbery.
We believe that probably one of his objectives in all of that was to put in a compensation claim sometime down the track as a victim of the robbery.
Police play along with his game, strongly suspecting Rafahi and Koda are the masterminds behind the robbery. But Rafahi and Koda think they've got away with the gun club heist and head overseas. Remember that stolen RTA licence machine? They're going to China to explore ways of manufacturing illegal licences.
Police hope with the drug lords away, the foot soldiers will go quiet. Yeah, right. But this time their crimes will give police a breakthrough. A group of foot soldiers rob a petrol station at gunpoint. Detectives follow the armed assailants to a house where they make the dangerous but necessary decision to arrest them, knowing that what they may find inside the house will be crucial to taking down the drug lords.
We're here to search for the following items: firearms and ammunition, a Sandia 3R photo licence printer, and prohibited drugs.
Okay, so I'll clear that first and work my way in. I'll stick my head up the manhole for you.
This is actual police footage. Thomas is a specially trained firearms sniffer dog. If he sits, it means he's found a gun. He searches the kitchen. And then moves into the lounge room, sniffing for any trace of guns.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
The living room comes up clean for the firearms.
Got a holster here on the floor. There.
But police aren't finished yet. They're about to get a massive find.
That boy. Come here.
That is the stolen RTA machine Rafahi was trying to get the kidnap victim to fix. More police join the search and straight away find a wad of cash, mobile phone documentation, and further proof Koda and Rafahi are tied to this safe house.
It's dynamic security.
That's their business logo. The safe house is turning into a gold mine.
Holster or a firearm.
Would you believe it? Bullets inside the photocopier.
It used to be a spent gold cartridge case.
And then more evidence. A gun inside a printer.
Inside the printer area, a hand pistol of some description.
Just one of the many weapons stolen from the gun club. Police have more than enough evidence to arrest Rafahi and Koda. Meanwhile, still in China, the criminal kingpins have no idea about what's going down. In preparation for the duo's return to Australia, police assemble 300 tactical officers ready to arrest everyone involved in the crime spree.
We didn't know how they would react. We didn't know whether they would come out willingly or they would have to be arrested by force.
Remember, Rafahi and Koda are dangerous criminals. They've kidnapped, robbed at gunpoint, and escaped with pistols. And they're not afraid to use them.
It was the largest pre-planned deployment of the Tactical Operations Unit that had been conducted in New South Wales. It was quite unique in that All of the search warrants were high-risk search warrants.
Your heart's racing. You are scared. You know that potentially you're going to be in a position that you may not come home that night.
For 5 months, police have been gathering evidence on Simon Raha and Gaston Koda.
The pair have kidnapped, robbed a gun club, organised ram raids, and using foot soldiers have stolen millions of dollars in drugs from a government lab. And now the duo has just returned home from China.
Totally unaware, 300 tactical officers are assembled and ready to strike. Police hit Raha's house first.
About 50 minutes ago, the SPG secured the premises, and Samir Rafahi was negotiated out of the premises and taken into custody.
That's Raha's wife on the front step. Her husband has already been arrested and taken to the police station.
Do you understand what I've just handed you and what we're doing here?
Police enter Raha's home and start searching for drugs and any evidence that will link him to the crime spree. This is actual police footage of the raid on the house. They searched the lounge room first. And before long, a discovery.
Is possibly the layout for a gun.
That is a map of the drug lab that was robbed. The lab with the millions of dollars in high-grade drugs confiscated by police from other criminals.
Where they did the robbery. So it says lab bust. Yep, actually turn it over. Yes.
Officers keep searching. They find even more documentation that links Raha and Koda to previous crimes. They have to search everywhere, up high, and even in the most unlikely of spots. In the kitchen, hidden amongst the family's frozen veggies, is what appears to be small containers of drugs.
Here's a plastic bag. It was on the right-hand side at the rear of the freezer compartment. One vial, a sticker on it stating heroin hydrochloride, gross weight of 38.5 grams.
It's what police have been looking for.
Another bottle, dimethyl MDA, gross weight of 22.8 grams.
Examination would subsequently reveal that the containers are part of the $2 million drug stash stolen from the government drug lab.
The same again, 126 grams.
Meanwhile, Raha is providing a DNA sample to officers. Police will match his DNA against residue found inside the safe house and at the various crime scenes. Police have also arrested Koda at the back of his apartment.
You've been arrested. We are about to execute a search warrant at your premises. Do you understand that? Are there any explosives in your apartment?
Police enter Koda's house and straight away find a weapon.
Firearm located there with ammunition.
Enter police dog London, trained to sniff out firearms. While he keeps looking for guns, other police officers start searching for drugs and soon discover a bag.
Looks like drug paraphernalia.
The black bag is loaded with drugs. Further examination would reveal the drugs are part of the haul from the drug lab.
788, silver satchel, plastic satchel.
Raha and Koda's criminal rampage has come to an end.
They did not get any opportunity to run. The operation was properly planned and well executed.
Guns, knives, drugs, cars, and even dogs were taken away. 5 men were arrested, the oldest 30, the youngest 16.
Police say the operation and the arrests will have a significant impact on crime, not just in this area, but throughout New South Wales.
The totality of this crime syndicate was completely dismantled. From that day forth, they were never in operation again.
Simon Raha and Gaston Koda were sentenced to 16 years jail for offences including armed robbery,
kidnapping, selling firearms, and possessing illegal drugs, part of the $2 million stash stolen from the government lab.